But that depends.
It depends on the
your
strain.
10 by 10.
Yeah, depends on the strain of mushrooms you want to grow. My house is particularly warm. Melanin, born in the UK. So I went for oyster mushrooms, which like the heat. They like it between
Perfect.
16 and 20 degrees, roughly.
That's roasting. I'm sitting there in my pants like that. It's too hot.
Oh, in 16 degrees.
16 degrees, yeah.
I'm 24 degrees.
But yeah, and if you're in a cooler temperature, because the next experiment I want to do is see if I can grow blue oyster mushroom, which likes the cold,
Right.
outdoors.
Okay. Interesting.
And
Let's roll with that test.
yeah,
But that hits our pathway, right? It's low effort, high yield, because with that 40k profit per year, that gets you over the financial test. Now that you do have challenges to face, which is obviously the last mile, as the commerce world, from harvesting it to getting into customers' hands, you've got to solve that piece at volume. Okay, so that's going to take you more time.
Yeah, that's the sales.
That's
and
sales, marketing, but distribution. So we're going to have to get that problem solved.
yes,
Let's just say, pluck it out of the air, that's going to be taking 20% off of your margin.
yeah, it could do. Looking at the volume at which typical customers would buy is also the key bit. So if you're selling to the end user. As in domestic families who just want it for their meals, it's going to be in smaller units. You're pretty much going to sell 500 gram punnets at a time, which is a box maybe about that big. But if you're selling to restaurants and cafes, they're going to take a larger volume off you.
Take a tray, aren't they?
Yeah, so that piece we're going to solve.
Yeah.
Sounds
Absolutely.
all right, doesn't it?
But again, it depends on the size of the restaurant.
Yeah, that people have done it before, so we can easily replicate that.
And restaurants, we haven't really started on this area yet, but let's face it, they want food with a provenance. They want food that's organic, not tainted by pesticides and herbicides and fungicides and fertilizers. They want stuff that's clean, and if they're local, you can even invite them to come and see it, can't you? And they've then got a story to tell their customers. If you're running a restaurant or a bar, pub, you're trying to sell you're not just selling some food. It's not a commodity. You're selling an experience there on the night, but that can extend to the source of your suppliers. And especially in the current world that we live in, there is ever more desire for that sort of connection. The more we become disconnected, the more desire there is for connection.
Funny
that
that.
goes to food as well. And I think the local low air miles. You're ticking all the boxes that we're being, if you like, propagandized into accepting.
Really low carbon emissions.
So low carbon emissions, and if you could get a source of organic straw, which there are suppliers who do that, then you know that even the substrate that the mushrooms are growing on is completely free of any sides, anything with poisons in it.
And it's all compostable at the end.
All compostable.
Just wash your buckets out and start again.
Yeah, great. In fact, you inspired me because it's a great source of, like you say, compost, isn't it? Mushroom compost.
Exactly.
Perfect.
So that's mushrooms. Another one of my favourites, which is actually the first one that I ever did, was microgreens.
Yeah, yes. This is crazy. This has blown my mind.
We love them. I should have bought some today, shouldn't I?
Yeah. And again, I thought it was going to be difficult. I thought it was going to be complicated. I paid for a course.
Good.
I can't remember how much I paid for the course. It might have been $100 or something like that. But it was a fantastic course by a lady named Amy, I believe. She's up in Sheffield. But really comprehensive video course.
Let's get her on the podcast.
Let's get her on.
Yeah.
Because her course was actually fantastic. Like when you're going through, you actually feel like you know her at the end of it.
Good.
But she went through every single bit of details. This is how you prep. This is where you buy the kit. These are the trays that I like. This is why I like these trays. Here's a link to go buy it. These are the shells that I like. This is what you need for humidity and a dehumidifier. This is literally everything I use to run my business. I believe she makes 80k a year in the size of a garage that fits a car.
So just picking up a couple of those concepts there. All of those questions you were like, not questions. All of these solutions that you was pointing to just there.
Yeah.
People at home, you're opening up all of those things. How do I do this? Where do I go this? What did I do this? And that's exactly what I was doing. How do I look after this sheep? How do I help them when they're ill? What vaccines do they need? You know, how do you do this? How do you do that? So if, you know, a famous value that we live by, just copy the people that are already doing it.
Copy the strategies of successful people. You don't need to be clever. You don't need to be a genius. You don't need to be creative or inventive. Just copy. You don't have to copy what they do. You copy their strategies, and they'll lay their strategies out for you, as we're hoping to do throughout this series. You know, over time.
So all of those, because as soon as you were saying that, I was like, what you do? You know, what racks are they? What temperature? What light is it? Is it normal light, warm light, white light? How many watts do I need? You know, or do I need extra solar panels because of? Is that my my primary thing? What's the backup solution? What happens if they don't get any light? All of those questions.
And one of the great things about microgreens in particular is that you can have fun with experimentation and you can learn on the job because the life cycle is so short, or the cycle from planting to harvest. In normal farming, you might be planting in, well, for example, I've done a garlic, quite a large garlic plantation, and we plant in October, we harvest in July. You're talking 9 months. You know, something goes wrong halfway through in month 8, and it's like, and there's nothing you can do about it. You can't replant until October because of the way they grow. Microgreens you can plant throughout the year. I particularly like peas, sprouting peas. You plant them on a Monday, you can be harvesting within 5 days, 5 to 7 days certainly. And then you can get 2 or sometimes 3 even successive harvests out of the same crop. If you don't cut them right down to the base, you leave an inch. We can talk a bit more about that in a moment. But if it goes wrong after 3 days, for some reason, because you're a beginner and you've overwatered them or underwatered them, let them go dry, doesn't matter. Start again. You're only 3 days in. You're not 9 months in or 7 months in.
It's not going to break the bank.
A license to test is really good. License to test.
That's it. So the first run I had, I tried 3 different plants.
What did you do?
I started with radishes.
Nice.
Pea and coriander.
I've struggled with coriander. I've tried that.
My coriander failed miserably. The first time round.
So you tested.
Maybe I'm not hot enough.
But radish just went. Like it needed almost nothing from me. I used no additional lighting. It was literally just in the middle of my dining table in the kitchen. I've got bay windows that are sort of near it. That is it.
When you first said radishes, when you introduced me to microgreens, I was like, well, those little red things, how are you going to grow them? Surely you need soils, surely you need to be outside, surely you need everything along those lines. But it's not actually it's actually the shoots. So you don't get anywhere near the vegetable piece.
No.
And that's the whole difference with microgreens.
That's it.
Do you actually enjoy the taste of them?
I do like them.
Oh, okay.
I do like them.
Like peppery?
But I didn't like peas. Yes, they're peppery.
I love the peppery bits.
But I didn't like pea shoots.
Didn't you?
No, I thought I would.
I absolutely love pea shoots, but a few people I've given them to have sort of like turned their nose up, and I'm like, is it something?
That's the bit of salad you push aside.
I think they're gorgeous.
Yeah.
So I guess but there's so many different things. You can do things like amaranth and mustard, and there's all sorts of things you can try and find the ones that you like. You know, and arrange, maybe if you're doing it for customers, do a range, take them to the customers, let them try and see which ones they like, and then say you'll grow them to order. Simple.
I think my next thing is trying to do a mixed salad bag, because in my household,
microgreens.
We spend easily £6 or £7 a week on greens. We don't need to. I can grow 4 trays. And a tray is that long by that deep. That's way too much. One tray alone.
You could grow that in a week.
You can grow that in a week. And if the shelf life was long enough, if it could last a month, it would take us a month to eat 1 tray. That's how much greens are on there. And again, pesticide free, herbicide free, fungicide free.
No
fertilizer. Actually, not even acid rain, because you don't need to grow it outside.
And one of the other things is that plants, many of these leafy greens, lose about 95% of their phytonutrients within 48 hours of being cut. Yeah. So it's slightly different if you've got something like a potato or a root or even a seed, because it's still alive, even though it might be dry or whatever, it's still alive. Yeah. Whereas once you cut a lettuce or a radish or a pea sprout, it's starting to die. You've disconnected it from the roots. But if you're cutting it, putting it on your plate and eating it within 30 seconds or a minute, it's still full of live phytonutrients. And